police officer have a right to go home to feed them family. But you can't go home to phone the people them while people mourn. We're tired of it. We're tired of it. It's a genocide in that country. Genocide. Who murdered 311. Who not tired of blood. Who not tired of killing a brother. And this week, you to go up on farm work. Farm work.
Make a news page tonight.
What you must bring every blame face? Him wicked here. What you must do even fight? You must bring every blame face. He must bring the girl face. Him wicked.
Fighting for life. Tensions erupt in Craigtown as police and residents clash following the shooting of 2 men during incidents involving members of the security forces. We're tracking the latest developments.
Up first this evening, over 50 students were rushed to hospital after an accident in Clarendon.
The coaster bus they were traveling in to Garvey Masaya High School hit 2 cars and then collided in a median along the Bustamante Highway.
The police say the bus was carrying more passengers than intended and the driver was driving recklessly.
Parents and relatives gathered at a gate, waiting to hear the names of children, eager to hear how they are doing. On the opposite side, nurses instead of teachers. The scene inside Maypen Hospital after an accident involving all of 39 students. Bandaged forehead, students being wheelchaired to and from the hallway. Utter chaos in accident and emergency. The students were traveling from Maypen to Garvey Masaya High School in this coaster bus. Now, this is what's left of it. The front warped out of shape, the doors barely hanging on. Seats inside left loose and leaning forward, suggesting how aggressively students were thrown from their seats, especially those who were not secure to begin with. TVJ News understands the coaster is meant to carry 28 people. Along the road, a section of the median now rubble. One parent who spoke with her newsroom off camera recalled how she heard of the incident.
I was at work and I got a call that my son is in an accident on the highway. I not even know if I'm turned full, trust me. Start crying and everything. It take a while to call my boss because she wasn't at work with us. You understand?
When she rushed to the hospital, it was a stunning sight. Too many students to count, too many injuries to notice, too many emotions to comprehend.
When I go inside here, a lot of children with brace around their neck. I don't even know if to tell her because there are so much.
After a while, she laid eyes on her son and she could finally breathe.
But I wait a while to see him, You see, when I go in, I saw that he have a swelling on his right eye, a scrape on his left hand, and he has a swelling on his right leg. And he says it is paining him.
According to investigators, the incident occurred minutes before 8 a.m. at a stoplight along Bustamante Highway. The bus slammed in 2 cars and later collided into the median. The mother spoke to the driver at the hospital.
I go over to him and I said, "Good morning, can you tell me what happened?" He said, "Mommy," and he said, "If you tell her, it's the brake failed me." And he said he can't do too much talking because he don't want to black out.
Another parent said the bus was a regular mode of transport for school children.
It's a regular bus, yes. It's a regular bus most kids takes. But I'm not going to tell you any lie. I went on that bus before and the condition how I saw the driver drive, I never like it.
Up to press time, some students were treated and released. Romarda Lion.
Alright, so I'm about 5 minutes to go pick up my daughter from school, right? And it looks like a gym I come from. So, brother, the sun is hot as fuck. Because I say, I'm reach home and say, alright, I'm turning 2 for them. Because 1 for not gonna work. If I'm turning 2 for them, I'm still a bone up, brother. Still a bone up. So I'm saying, no, I'm not wasting time. My girl be not tell me, say, yo, for buy AC and you get a little bonus. So I say, alright, fuck it. Call the AC people and say, yo, what time you can forward? On the AC ASAP. You give me a say, I'm forward ASAP and you know. From them forward, brother, I tell you the honest truth, dog. Honest truth. I drop asleep in one of the thickest sweater I have, bro. You get me? I say, I'm sleep out the whole day, brother. I'll know my daughter sleep in the bed next to me. A joke thing.
Jamaica is on high alert for the predicted Super El Niño that is expected to develop and shift weather patterns worldwide. It means intense droughts and heat waves could thrive in some areas and intense rain in other regions in the coming months. But what does it mean for the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season? As Kalisha Williams reports, while climate scientists say El Niño could suppress storm development, warmer ocean temperatures could trigger major hurricanes.
This declaration from the Met Service of Jamaica on Wednesday afternoon.
The Meteorological Service has been monitoring the weather conditions. We recognize that the rainfall has really been decreasing over the island. Also, temperatures have been rising, and we're watching the El Niño as it seems to be developing this year, and it could be a very strong one. So we're watching it very closely.
It follows an advisory from the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, that El Niño is emerging even faster than expected in the Pacific Ocean, and odds are increasing that it could become historically strong, a rare Super El Niño by fall or winter. El Niño is a natural climate cycle that happens when the Pacific Ocean warms enough to trigger changes in wind patterns throughout the atmosphere, and that has a ripple effect on weather conditions worldwide. It could lead to more droughts, heat waves, and wildfires in some regions and intense rainfall in other areas.
We'll be issuing any kind of releases that are necessary, and of course meeting with the whatever officials are necessary, but we want you to make sure that you take your information from credible sources. The Meteorological Service is on the ball. We're getting the information and we're willing to pass it out. We're ready to pass it out as soon as we do receive that.
On Thursday, NOAA is expected to release its annual outlook for the Atlantic hurricane season, and already questions are being raised about the El Niño's impact on hurricane development. While El Niño typically leads to tropical storm suppression and fewer landfalls, climate scientist at Climate Central Daniel Guilford says there are still concerns.
The climate change is here for us, right? The warm waters are still out there, despite the fact that we may be like seeing this El Niño happen. And so there is this back and forth interplay between the El Niño suppressing the storms and the warm waters available to supercharge the storms. So I think one of the things that we can expect is probably a below average season. I think this is what Colorado State has predicted for going forward. And NOAA, I will suspect, although we haven't seen it yet, we'll probably have something in that ballpark.
And so when a storm eventually develops,
it will see those warm waters in the Atlantic Ocean, especially in the Gulf of Mexico. We see these warm waters, and it will start to grow, and it could intensify and become a very major storm indeed. So despite the fact that El Niño conditions will generally suppress hurricane activity, there is a ton of warmth out there for these hurricanes to take advantage of if they're able to kind of get around the sheer constraint.
The climate change science has showed that warmer oceans are fueling stronger hurricanes, and they bring more intense rainfall and high storm surge when they develop.
As of this week, what you're looking at on your screen, global sea surface temperatures are running alongside record levels of ocean heat that we experienced in 2024.
This evening's health report, Shamela Pullen takes a closer look at the hantavirus infection.
Hantavirus infection is a group of viral infections that can cause serious illness in humans. It mainly affects the lungs or kidneys, depending on the type of virus involved.
There are two large groups of this hantavirus. One which lives in Europe and Asia, and another which lives in the Americas, called the Andes strain. The group which we see in Europe and Asia causes hemorrhagic fever, that is bleeding and a renal syndrome, and which is very often fatal. The Andes strain, which is what we see in the West, causes respiratory illness and is very often also up to 50% fatal.
In the early stages, it can feel like a severe flu.
Fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headache, dizziness, chills, which, as you can see, overlap significantly with so many other disease profiles, including flu, COVID, even leptospirosis. So diagnosis is difficult early on and requires a very high index of suspicion for a clinician to go ahead and do the tests in relation to this.
There is currently no specific cure, so treatment focuses on supportive medical care.
Prevention of hantavirus infection depends heavily on reducing any points of contact between people and these rodents. So keeping the home and the workplace clean, sealing off points of entry into the home, storing food securely, using safe practices in cleaning areas which may be contaminated by rodents, and avoid dry sweeping or vacuuming of rodent droppings, as breathing in of the droppings could result in infection. And of course, strengthening hand hygiene practices, which means washing hands, ensuring proper food sanitation.
With your health report, I'm Shamela Pullen, wishing you good health.
In this evening's health report, Shamela Pullen.
Yo, the police them come like a fucking vampire, dog. All them do are Jenny Garrison, bro. That's all them do, brother. And the media and the upper heads them, and make it seem as if them do a good job. You get me, I say? Because why in every news report, there's always, once the police shoot and kill someone, there's always, that person was brandishing a firearm, that person shoot after the police, that person was attacking the police. Bro, there's always a news like that. You get me, I say? They might make it seem as if the police has never done anything wrong. You get me, I say? Every news report you listen, them always say the gang members, the bad man or the civilian did this to the police when they retaliate. Every news report. You get me, I say? And in this recent case with Latoya, bro, right? In the news, I talk on CBM TV, and also in the Observer and the Gleaner, the report said it was alleged that a police officer shot and killed a driver. Alleged? How can something be alleged and the CCTV proved that it was the police officer that shot him? How? How can something be alleged? And if you hear that, brother? And then you're going to say, oh, you need a witness? A witness to do what? A witness to say what? That the CCTV have already confirmed. You get me, I say? So, the leaders them and the media are portray an image as if the police are the ones that are doing a good job. Yeah, man, so the media portray it, man. The system is broken to a point where it literally need to fix, because I am just a police on the problem and the bigger it's them. You get me, I say? Because if that was the case, why don't they come up with a new strategy? Why don't they implement some new ways or new tactics so that the ghetto youth can be more secure? Why? Why? Every chance they get to do that, them turn it down. Body cam, turn it down. How does that make sense, bro? You get me what I'm saying? Just because they are not affected by it. Just because they're not affected by it. If the government, if the rich people, if the uptown people, if they were affected by the police, bro. If they were affected by the police, this problem would have resolved already. The fact that they are not affected by it, how can they resolve it? How can you resolve something that you don't have a problem with? That are going, bro.